How can we protect our data that's going through our own AI?
It's getting better all the time. In fact, in a way, it's quite frightening because you move into, well, what's happening to jobs? I want to enhance, so go back and redo it all for me. So it was back and redo it all for you. And it took it a while to do it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another amazing episode of Sphere of Success, the podcast that looks at challenge and adversity in business and how, as business owners, we can alchemize that to resilience, to strength, to growth, to innovation, and also creativity. And as every time we talk about the projects and the whole themes on this podcast, we try and think of things that are really resonating with people right now. And let's bring in AI, because this is a theme which is causing a lot of disturbance, a lot of stress and anxiety and worry. And also, as the theme of this podcast is going to be about how small businesses can jump on the AI bandwagon. It's very important to get stuck in. You don't need to be a big organization to do that. And today we have an amazing person just right for you. It's Paul Dambra. He is the CEO of Consectus Limited. He's the joint founder of that business as well. And what his mission is to make digital innovation fast, cost effective, and truly customer centric. And so today, with Paul, we'll unlock the most powerful tools shaping the future of business: artificial intelligence. Whether you're running or growing a startup, an established business, or family owned service, AI isn't just for tech giants. It's a game changer for you. From automating daily tasks to attracting more customers and making smarter decisions, AI can save you time, cut costs, and help your business grow faster and on a sustainable level. Let's put that in there as well. So what Paul is he speaks from his experience of actually doing the do, not just as a teacher, but actually every day working with and on AI to make his business flourish, which he's doing a fantastic job of. And he's here today to give us some tips, tricks, tools, etc., that we can really use as small business owners. So welcome, Paul. It's great to have you on the show.
Good morning. Yes, good to be here. So,
Excellent. Yeah. And I'm really looking forward to this, because what I'd like you to do now, if you don't mind, is just give our audience a little bit of an idea as to what got you into the business, what really motivated you around the AI action station so that you're bringing this into your business, and why you want to share it with others.
well, the business of AI, do you mean, or my business generally?
Well, how you're building it into your
Into
business
my
and what
business.
attracted
Yeah, I
you
mean,
to be an early adopter of AI.
yeah. So we're actually a technology company, so it's in a way relatively easy. I'm a bit of a technology geek myself. Um, but we actually offer AI products ourselves, and I can sort of cover what they do later in the talk, I'm sure, because there are lots of products out there like that. But in terms of AI, it's just an area of interest ever since I was at university, in fact, because AI has been with us for a very, very long time. It's just that it's in the last couple of years, it's leapfrogged to a different dimension. Um, AI is everywhere. From the DLR, the DLR in London, the Docklands Light Railway. Well, AI is running those trains, but it's been doing it for 30 years. So, as I said, AI has been everywhere, but it's just now it's moved into this new wave. In fact, there's a book called The New Wave, written by one of the gurus that I've read. A very interesting book, and talks about how it's all accelerating. Um, in terms of my use of AI, I would say I'd probably use something like ChatGPT virtually every day. Um, and there is a disadvantage. It makes you a little bit lazy. But I'd encourage anyone to go and try and use ChatGPT. Just go straight onto a browser, type in ChatGPT, and you'll find there'll be lots of other sites that appear. But I do find ChatGPT very powerful. I'll give you the example. I had a client. We had an existing contract with them. They wanted some new products. Didn't want to just add a schedule. They wanted to create um, a new contract, which had taken time. So I said, well, I need some kind of letter of intent to cover this. So they said, well, can you produce one? So I just went to ChatGPT, told it what I wanted to do. It produced a letter of intent for me. They sent that to the solicitors who said it's fine, and we signed it. Now, that probably would have taken me a few days to write. Probably got to get solicitors involved. But ChatGPT and stuff like that is very, very powerful. And even, I know, Debbie, you asked me to produce some notes for this. Well, I asked ChatGPT to write them for me, and they're very good. And we have a copywriter who writes stuff for us on the internet. And I take his content now and just ask ChatGPT, could you make this a bit more like a magazine article? And it'll change it. And then he said, well, can you make it a bit friendlier, please? And it will change it again. So I'd encourage anyone to use ChatGPT just in that context. From today, basically, go and have a look at it. Try and see what it could do for you. It'll help you in different spheres, I'm sure.
Well, this is very interesting because there's a plethora of things that businesses can use. And with the mountain of work that we've got, it's something which I think is very important for businesses. And thank you for bringing out the basis of ChatGPT. I use Copilot a lot. It's, something where, you get your favorites and
You
you
do, you
know
do.
how they work. What would you say would be, say, the four key tools that people would be thinking, well, what do I need to get as basics into my business that I can do various things with that are going to be optimizing my time, getting the results out faster, doing some research for me, maybe. So yeah, just let us know about the say the four or the three top ones that you think, yeah, these
Yeah.
are really good to get started with.
It's difficult because it depends what business you're in, I think.
Yeah.
But there are so there tend to be about models nowadays are called LLMs, large language modules, and they learn themselves. And there are some big ones out there like Copilot, like ChatGPT, which is OpenAI, etc. But lots of companies have formed and they've used that intelligence and created specialist areas. So, for example, if you were creating teaching videos, you no longer need to video anyone. There are videos generation AI tools out there that will create a person that looks like a real person, who will actually do that teaching for you, and you can actually get the AI tools to do that for you. So there are very much specialist ones out there. So, for example, if social media is very important, social media is not that important to my business because we're more B2B. But if you're a BGC thing, there are social media tools out there that will actually run your social media for you. They'll every day you give it information every day. They'll actually go into social media, Facebook and stuff, and do write-ups for you. So you're constantly updating what's going on in your business, informing your customers, etc. So I think there's something out there for everyone. It's just a matter of choosing things that fit your business and how you work really, and searching. Even Google now, if you search on Google, it uses AI. If you've noticed, they've stopped just doing the old. It was very much a blunt instrument in the past. It was just we found the following 27 sites or 270 sites that fit your search. Now it's the AI that comes up and says, well, based on all the sites I'm reading, this is the answer to your question. So everything is going AI. But yeah, that's a difficult. Sorry, I'm giving you a sort of straight answer.
No, that's fine.
It really does depend, and you can go into areas like robotics. We do provide a robotics tool, and the robotics tool automates. So we've got customers who they get applications on spreadsheets, and our robot reads the application and then type keys them into the system. Um, or they have applications on forms on the internet. We can't get them into their system, so the robot reads the form and then keys it in. And whereas in the past they would have had like 10 people in on overtime over the weekend, the bot just does it. It works 24/7, 365. So it just sits there, and you can have 10 bots keying in that data, and it does it within a day, sort of thing. So some powerful stuff in terms of automated processes. It just really depends, as the answer to your question, I think, as to what to use.
Mm.
So, yeah.
Interesting thing for me, I have a billionaire mentor for my sales and marketing. And I've made all of that through AI, and I'm about to have just a couple of days off next week to actually do this very thing, is to think about all of the things that I want to do that would take me time, money, and maybe extra resource to do. And I want to then work out those AI tools which would help me to achieve that, because a yearly subscription of 200, £300 is obviously a lot less than getting a person in to do that particular
Yeah.
activity. And so, from that perspective, I want it to come out with an action plan for me that I have to do on a daily basis to be able to get where I want to be. So it's going to be my mentor and coach from that perspective. But then I'm going to find the ways in which it can actually help me with certain activities and tasks that I need to do to be able to reach my outcome. The interesting thing is, I think, and would love you to let us know as well, is the way in which you prompt it to get the best answer from it. How do you go about making sure that you are large language model friendly in your prompts? Because I think that took me a little while to get my head around as to how do I make things like ChatGPT come up with an answer that I think is at the level of professionalism that I'd be happy with.
Yeah, and that's a key point because it, I think it's part of the learning of how you speak to the bot. I think you almost have to think of it as a person, really. Um, and I think that, I sort of gave an example of that before, where you can give it something and say, well, can you make it sound a bit friendlier, or can you make it sort of a bit more formal, or whatever. So I think the way you can actually ask the AI tool to answer in a particular way, or you may say, could you improve the way you're talking about security, or whatever it may be. So getting it, don't just think because I've got an answer, that's it. You can actually ask it to enhance what it's doing. And I think that's the learning process. So I tend to say, write me an article on such and such, make it friendly, make it like a magazine, make it so that it emphasizes this topic area, and then it will do it all in one, and then you can ask it a bit more. So I think that's part of the learning process of using a tool like that. So, but yeah, it's just something that you'll pick up as you go along. It's like anything, isn't it? You learned years ago, we learned how to use Google, and now we're learning how to get to that. I think there is a word of caution there as well, in that some AI tools have actually lied. I don't know if you've seen that. There was a court case recently where someone
Mm.
turned up. He used ChatGPT to help him defend. I forget what it was. It was a fraud case or something. And Chat, you can go in and ask it what is the likely outcome of this case, and it'll give you all the details, because it does it based on looking up things. Um, but it actually gave some case law as examples to back up its arguments. And when the case law was looked at, it didn't exist. So the AI started to get a little bit too clever. It's on good. So you can actually say to it, be truthful,
Yes.
lie, and it won't lie then. So and that's an important part of AI as well. Something called guardrails. I don't know if you come across guardrails, but guardrails, if you look them up, are a key part of AI in terms of restricting the problem with AI is it can go off and do anything and say anything, but restricting it to what you want to do. And I'll give you an example of a product we have, but this product type of product's available generally. So we have a product where you can upload documents to a chatbot, yeah, and the chatbot will answer questions on those documents. So, for example, you could use it for your HR in your company. You could upload all your HR, have a HR bot, and if someone says, "What paternity leave am I entitled to?" or whatever it may be, the bot will answer. But what's important is you put guardrails around it, because if it can't find the answer and you don't have guardrails, it will go off and find it in the internet. So it will actually go and come back. Oh yeah, well, on average, you're entitled to 2 weeks paternity leave, but that's not the policy of the company. So
Mm.
you have to protect in a way around what it will come back with. So those guardrails are also a very important part of AI, I think you'll find.
So you've mentioned guardrails, Paul, and I think this is really important. And as a natural extension to that, how can we as business owners make sure that our data that we're providing into AI, because it's looking at our systems, our processes, information that is highly sensitive to our organizations and liable for a cyber attack or anything, you've only got to have Jaguar Land Rover, M&S as an example of all the things that we're working on. These are massive, massive giants, and you'd think that they'd have the right systems in place. So how can we protect our data that's going through our own AI?
No, it's a it's a very good point, and I think one of the things is to actually almost come up with, well, what data am I going to use, and how sensitive is that data? Because once you put it into in most systems, once you put it into the AI world, it is out there as public data, because that's how AI works. It wants to read lots of information. You can ask it to delete the information that once you've given it any information, but most systems that like ours that actually provide a service like the AI bot I mentioned, we have full protection on that data, so we tend to protect it, delete it when it's not being used, etc. So I think it's an important thing to look for when you're looking for a tool. How do they manage data? Because some tools are probably a bit more open than others. So I would say be very careful about what data you want to use. Obviously things like personal data, if you're covering personal data, you can get in a lot of trouble if that gets out there. But certainly there are ways of protecting it, and most AI systems will have that for you. You need to look at what the security is for those systems, and some are better than others. And as you say, there have been attacks. It tends not to be about AI, those attacks. That tends to be just attacks on websites, but that's where we're heading, and we're potentially seeing some people creating AI to actually do the attacks, and then having AI to defend from the attacks. So we get into sort of wars of the AIs potentially. So it's an interesting area, but certainly one definitely you need to be aware of, and check what the supplier does in that space, definitely.
And also from this perspective as well, how do we help, especially if we have a team, or indeed if we're having an avatar created through video, and that's not something which is that difficult to do for other people. How can we ward off things like deep fake?
Yeah, I think again it's down to making sure that everyone's using the same. So I think not. I hate saying things like you need an AI policy or strategy, but effectively I think you need to basically make sure that rather than just let people do what they want, because you mentioned you use Copilot, I use ChatGPT, etc. I think you need to have some kind of company, depends how big you are, but you need to define as a company how you're going to use AI, what tool you're going to use, and within what context you're going to use it, and make sure that people understand that and are trained into how to use it. Not because, as you say, we don't want people using different things and coming up with the wrong answers, which can be catastrophic for the business. So it's really about the controls again around AI, and I think just leaving it, people will use it. If you go onto Word now, it says, "Do you want me to write this in Copilot?" So I bet your staff, if you've got, they're using it anyway, whether you think it or not, they're probably using it. But it's understanding, defining which tools to use and how to use them, so everyone's fully aware of that, and making sure that any data that is shared is shared in a way that it's protected. So I think it's all part of that how it all fits together.
And with that, and you've mentioned staff, how can we make sure if we're paying for subscriptions for various AI tools, that actually our staff, our people are actually using them to the fullest effect, and they're not going through this adoption fatigue and going to what they know?
Hmm. Yeah, again, I mean, there are tools out there can monitor how your staff are using it. I mean, I'll give you the example, we use a tool called Claude. Claude is because we write code. So we use Claude, and Claude writes code for you. Now, our developers don't like it because they see it as taking their job away. We're trying to say to them, it's not taking the job away, it's just enhancing your job. But it's very hard to monitor how much they're using Claude. Now, we are paying for Claude, um, so, and we can actually get statistics from the Claude system to see, so we can actually see that some of the developers haven't been using it. So we'll get senior developers to talk to them and say, well, why aren't you using Claude? We should be using it. Well, I don't like it, is the usual answer. So again, I think the tools out there tend to monitor that. If you're just using things like ChatGPT on the internet or Copilot in Word, that's very difficult to monitor. I think there you give the people the tools and it's up to them if they want to use them at the end of the day. I think you probably see that people are becoming far more efficient at creating stuff if they're using those tools. I think that's one of the key measures for me, because why wouldn't you use it? We had someone who didn't wasn't very keen on using stuff, and I just spent some time with him going through how to use it, and he uses it all the time now. So yeah, it's just that getting over that sort of adoption curve again. I think once people start using it, they usually use it pretty well.
And interestingly enough, I mean, I've become a great advocate from a position of reticence to start with. And one of the
Mm,
things I've realized, and this is for the audience here, I use it before I have any kind of interaction, communication, say with a new prospect or person, because I ask ChatGPT, so Copilot, please personality profile this individual, and I put the name to
mm,
provide me with a framework to base my conversation that will resonate with them
mm,
using their personality profiling. And then I put in the about section to say, and please use this as reference in the about section on LinkedIn when they put one in. So it's in public domain. I'm not taking
yeah,
anything that
yeah,
that person wouldn't be happy for that to go in. And I have been absolutely astounded by the level of detail and quality that that framework provides me with in a matter of a minute, 60 seconds. And I remember, because I've done high level business development when I was working for the bank and Hitachi, is that it would take me hours to
yeah,
do this personality profiling so that we could see from a persona perspective the types of people that we were dealing with, how we'd want to communicate with them, what would resonate with them, etc. And there was an art form to it that now takes me less than a minute. So I do that religiously now before I speak with people so that I've got that added advantage of knowing I need to come across in a certain way. I need to be using certain language and phraseology. I need to be adopting either a statistical approach or more of an empathetic approach, or how I connect with these people. And it has been a game changer, a literal game changer for
mm,
me. And so, from that
yeah,
perspective, if anybody is in the scenario where they have their business development teams or what have you, there used to be researchers, people who would do this for us at great expense because this information is very valuable. And
it
now,
is.
as I say, it takes 60 seconds and I'm there and I've got it.
Yeah, and I think it's a great example of it's down to your imagination, really, as you want to use it. I mean, I needed to book some flights recently, so I asked GPT to go and find me the flights, and it was great. It came back saying, "Well, I found you these flights. These ones. Would you prefer to change less? Do you want a longer flight?" And it was a long haul flight, and it didn't actually do the flight in the end, but it honed me right into a particular carrier and said, "This looks like the best for you." So I think it can save you a lot of time, and that was a business flight, so he's in the business world. We could do it privately as well, but as you say, it's really down to your imagination and to use it, what to use it for. And like you, I'm often amazed by the results of things when I ask things. I always say that the old adage of because I demo our AI system, and we often just upload documents from a customer that we find on our website. Then I'd say to the customer, then ask it a question. And I often say, though, that it's a bit like, the old adage of never work with children and animals. Well, I say never work with children, animals, or AI now, because I have no idea how it's going to answer the question. But I'm always amazed that it comes up with an answer and gives you a bit more insight as well. It is fantastic to see how it's doing, and it's getting better all the time. In fact, in a way, it's quite frightening, because you move into, well, what's happening to jobs and all this kind of stuff, and where we're seeing AI move into driverless cars and all that kind of stuff, because that's where we're heading with all this as well at the moment. But so it's scary and exciting at the same time, I think.
And for people who are thinking, well, there's another subscription, there's another element coming out the account, what do you see as return on investment for people investing in, the starter package? We're looking at how we get in as a small business.
Yeah.
What would you see return on investment wise coming from use of and adoption of AI to results at the end?
Well, yeah, it's again, some of them are actually quite good for free. I tend to use free ChatGPT, um, but yeah, the return of investment, it can be very powerful. Just that one example I gave earlier, the legal subscription stuff. I just use ChatGPT for that, but I'm willing to have paid for it. It's that good. But I think it's down to a case by case basis. For example, my accountant uses a AI bot that sits when we do a Teams meeting. He has an AI bot sitting there listening, and at the end, it writes up everything. And I'm totally amazed by how accurate it is. Now, he reckons that saves him hours and hours, and it means he can take on a couple more clients. Now, I think that's something like £20 a month he pays for that. And you look at that and you think, well, if you can take on a couple more clients, and he doesn't have to do that grudge work either, and the results of it's brilliant. So last time we were talking about rugby and all that, and the bot just ignored all the chit chat. It just honed in on the actions and did everything for you. So it really is down to the return on the investment. Again, is down to what tools am I using. With Claude, the thing I mentioned before, the business case of that. I mean, that's not cheap. I think it works out about $30 per developer per month. But it's a no-brainer in terms of the productivity of our developers. It's probably gone up by 30-40% using it. So effectively, it means I've increased my team size by that. And the output is much greater. So it's down to individual business cases, but I think it's very easy to see where the benefit comes from for most of these subscriptions. But again, be careful, because you could end up with subscriptions for everything. But at the end of the day, if they're all working for you, that's fine.
Well, that's it, isn't it? If they're all working and they're all providing a return on investment, and sometimes you get those, the free introduction sessions, etc. And so it's important to maximize those and
It
kind of
is.
do some research and homework before you get it, so that when you do get it, you can really hit the decks running. And I think that that's something which, people are well advised to get a little bit of knowledge about the tech before you bring it in, so that you can really then optimize your experience with it on that free version. So,
Oh,
yeah.
definitely. And I think that, like we said before, start small with some of the free stuff. There is a subscription version of ChatGPT. I don't use Copilot, so I presume there is that. Well, I get that free with Office 365, I think.
Mine's
But
free with Office
yeah,
365. So
free
I
with
thought
Office.
I've got it in there. I might as well use
Might as
it.
well use it, because it asks you at the top, what do you want to write about? Just give it a go. Give it. So I
Exactly.
say to everyone, just give it a go, try it, see what it does. I want to write a letter to somebody complaining about X, Y, and Z, which happened on this date, and it'll just go vroom. Just it's very clever. So start small, and then start thinking about, well, how can I specialize? But think about, there isn't just creation of documents and stuff. Think about automation, and think about how it can help with analytics, help with team meetings, taking minutes, all that kind of stuff. There's so many different areas.
Mm.
Say, there are specialist AI tools out there that do social media for you if that's important to you. So think about, where could it help me, and is it worth paying that subscription based on that? But I think, as you say, most of them do a month free to start with, so you can just see how you get on with it. But start small, and I think you'll start using it more and more as you see it.
I think it's like anything. The more you use it, the more you'll use it. So yeah,
Yes,
you can
there's.
get creative with this then. And
Mm,
actually, like I'm thinking now, different applications for it, different things that it can do. Whereas at the beginning, I'm like, hmm. And then the other thing is, of course, good old Google or YouTube. You can type it in and say, what are the applications that I can use with this particular tool? What are people doing with it, etc. Because I always think, and this is what I say to my team, don't rely on your own brains. Go out there and see. There are various platforms. One of them is Answer the Public, which gives you the most asked questions that people are asking around a particular theme or a topic, etc. And we use that a lot. There are other providers of that sort of thing as well, not just that one. But once you start to adopt things and then use AI to add value to that experience, all of a sudden you really are optimizing on an exponential level the way in which you're using AI. And I can't say that I'm a technical person because I'm not, but
no,
I've literally onboarded everybody that I speak to, as I said, on that process. And it also provides me with a framework for my podcasting because people say, oh my goodness me, because I teach and train in this. How do I do this and etc. And actually, just very quickly, and of course, there's the human element of it, but the framework has been done via AI. And why
yeah,
not? Because as I said, I'm very impressed what it comes back with.
yeah, no, and I think that's an important point. I think that human side is always important. I think it's looking at it as an assistant, really, someone's helping you to do your job. And if you look at it that way, there's areas like they've now shown that AI is better at doing, prognosis of conditions for doctors. But I don't think you'd ever want to get rid of the doctor. You'd always want that person there. But the AI comes up with, well, I've looked at your records because I can go off and look at all your records. I'm looking at what's going on around me. And I can tell you that I think this is probably X, Y, or Z. And the doctor will say, oh, yeah, I didn't think of that. That's a good point.
Mm,
So,
mm.
so it's thinking of it very much as a massive assistant to what you do, and automating some of the mundane stuff that you do as well. That adds the value, or adds a lot of value to the business, but adds the value to you as a person in terms of having to do that gradually. A bit like my accountant who doesn't take minutes anymore. I looked at getting it for myself, and I thought, well, I don't really take that many minutes myself, so I left it. But
Well, it's horses for courses, isn't it? As you
it
were
is,
saying, if you are in that regard and you do have to minute every single conversation that you're having,
yeah,
then fine. If it's not something that you don't know, that's fine. I don't need it
yeah.
for. There might be something else that I might need it for.
So, and I'll give you an example of something where we have paid, and we have to sponsor RFPs, no request for proposals from companies, and they're always the same. We provide a mobile app for banking, and they're always, does it provide intra-account transfers? Does it? They're always the same. And I thought, oh my god, I answer these questions the same every time. So I've just got it was ChatGPT, and we paid the extra for it. I said, look, there are all these documents. Go and answer all the questions for me. And it answered all. Now I had to go through and check them. And in some cases, it wasn't great. And I actually said to it, oh, no, you've just answered directly. You've just said, does it do this? Yes, it does. No, I want you to enhance. So go back and redo it all for me. So I was back and redo it all for you. And it took it a while to do it. But that must have saved me days of work. And
And
because
now
all
it
I did then was
knows.
check. Yeah,
So
yeah.
it can go back to what you've taught it and how it's taught itself.
Exactly. So the next time it knows what I want, and again it's going back to your point of how to ask it. So don't just ask it to answer the questions. Answer the questions, but give a bit more about our product in each of the answers. So it's going off looking at, and then go giving the answers to them. And as I say, that's great. Now I've got that set up. So the next RFP I get, I'll just say, answer this for me, please. Now, I'm never going to get to the point where I want to check it first, but the consultancy that sent me the last one, I said, I've never seen such a long one. They said, oh, well, we used AI to generate it all. So even they were using AI to generate all the questions. I'm like, oh my god. So it, I think you have to embrace it because it's there, and it's if you don't
Yeah.
embrace it, everyone else is. So you'll get. You lose out if you don't start using it in some way or form, I think, is the answer, isn't it?
Absolutely. And on that, I think that's a great place to leave the conversation. One of the things I'd love for people to know, because I'm sure they're really on the edge of their seats now thinking, oh my gosh, this is, yeah, I want to get started, etc. How can people get hold of you, Paul?
Okay, well, I can. So yeah, my email address. Are you going to send out email address and stuff
Yes,
like that?
that'll all
Or
go in the
yeah,
show notes, but if you could just
yeah,
let people now know that, that would be brilliant.
yeah. Just email me, or and I'm sure I can respond. You can go on to our website. The company's called Consectus, as will be in the thing. So go onto our website and see. We don't just do AI; we do other stuff as well. But yeah, if people want a little more information or anything, then yeah, just drop me an email. I'll try and hopefully I won't get thousands of emails, but I'll try and respond to everyone if
Well,
so.
absolutely. And just to let everybody know as well, the name of your company is Consectus, Consectus Limited, Consectus Limited. And it's Paul Dambra. That's capital D with an apostrophe, capital A, M for mother, B for Bravo, R for Romeo, A for Alpha. So Paul Dambra. And yeah, find him on LinkedIn, drop in an email. And as I know, he's a wealth of information and he's a good laugh as well. You'll have a good time when you speak to Paul because he's very down to earth and you're going to learn a lot when you have a chat with him. So Paul, thank you very much for coming in. It's been great to have you on the
Yeah,
show.
thank you. Yeah, it's been good to share some experiences.
Wonderful. Thank you. And for everybody watching and listening, thank you so much. It's great to share this information with you. We really do appreciate your company. If you could like, comment, subscribe, and share as well, because I think this is worth sharing to those that you think, yeah, they could really do with some help on the AI front. Be in touch with Paul. And until next time, be successful, and we'll see you all again very soon. Bye bye now.